Hi everyone, I'm Adriana Osorio, and today on this podcast we're gonna talk about how the quarantine, the pandemic affect us in our life, our feelings.
Hello, my name is Andrea Danae Reyes Coronado, and I am going to talk about my experience with the COVID-19. I started my quarantine and I was very stressed. I was afraid of the situation outside and I could not be inside the house and went out to the yard. Sometimes I felt very sad. The people who were my friends stopped communicating with me and I never heard from them again. But with the online classes, I was able to meet my friends that now I love very much and they are very important in my life.
What experience have you had with COVID-19? My experience with COVID-19 was full of emotions since we were, were in a pandemic for approximately 2 years. I was then in the 3rd year of high school, and that isolation made me stop seeing my friends and stop going online I usually did. The majority of the use of the mouth cover was implemented, which at first made it very annoying to use it, but over time it became a daily habit. Personally, I was not infected with COVID-19, but if I had close relatives who were infected at the end of January 2022 and I could not see them for months, then that experience was very sad.
When the pandemic started and the stores had to close and a lot of restrictions started, I was a little scared because I never thought that this could reach that level, and it was very worrying since I had never been in a situation like this. I think we all felt very stressed and overwhelmed when we were restricted from leaving the house. But on the other hand, being at home helped many of us to get know each other better. There many began to discover what their talents were or what they were good at. For example, I discovered that it was good for baking cakes. We also began to meet and live with each member of our family.
COVID-19 was really a great disaster. 2 years ago, many people lost loved ones and others could not understand that. They could not understand the importance of taking care of themselves. My experience with COVID was really bad. It gave me probably the most unforgettable month of my life for various reasons. And the anxiety it gave me from wanting to protect those I loved was really exhausting. I think that now we are more responsible in this regard. Things are gradually taking a good course, although they continue to give positive cases, and that's reassuring. And I really hope that things don't get the same again. I really hope that.
I just remember my life before pandemic was so different than now. I remember that I was almost happy and my life was so active. But then the quarantine started and my days started to be so long and boring. I felt bad all the time. And I really miss some parts of my life before pandemic. After quarantine, I met incredible people and I really love to spend my time with them. I think that classes online are so different that the classes that are face to face. So I learned to live with this because now it's like a normality, but it could be saying that everything are come back to the normality that we know.
My experience during the COVID pandemic was a storm of emotions and an up and down as my eating disorder totally overwhelmed my mood and destroyed all my friendly relationships with anyone I had contact with. At the end of last year in January, almost February, my grandparents got sick with COVID and I had to take care of them during my Christmas vacations, not being able to rest properly. I was the last to get sick and I lost 4 kilograms, falling into a state of malnutrition for the second time, suffering much later in my recovery of anorexia.
During the beginning of the pandemic, it was a very unique change in my life. There were things that I never thought would happen, as one of them was total isolation. There were days had missed the normality of before, but not everything was negative. With the passage of the months, I learned new things and changed for the better in my daily life.